Attention gamers. In a previous video I showed how after 6 years and over 300 videos I finally climbed out of gold elo myself, which was a high point in my competitive esports career. That said, I don't know why, but I figured my life would just be one big jizzing dick after repping a solo queue platinum rank like the dream. I'd be jacked, my views would look botted, I could fulfill any streamer's dream of being able to win arguments about nothing with middle school kids in Twitch chat while my dog never moved from her assigned spot. I just figured this was the ticket to my personal utopia, but the comments on that video quickly warned me, like a dude who's dated an OnlyFans whore, that there are dark days ahead, and so today I will show my welcoming first 3 games in plat to see if it's really just a shiny gold. But for those of you wondering how I finally got out of gold, it really came down to trading my own joy and variety and for playing the same champ the same way every single game. Boring but effective, and using a helper app to keep me focused on the right things. Like staying up to date with the latest OP bullshit on the Rift, the latest changes to champs that I play, and a bunch of other pregame tips. For example, I could see that MF counters every single champ the enemy team picked, so it's a no-brainer, and then I can import runes directly into my client that are designed for this particular matchup. Instead of guessing from stupid mastery levels who would suck and who would pop off, I could use the scouting report to know for a fact that my support sucks on Nami. Yay! In-game there's reminders of build paths, summoner spell trackers, and comparison mappers that keep me informed that I am indeed worse than the average plat player, and then after the game, instead of dealing with Riot's buggy client, I can use very analytical amounts of data badassery to learn where I played well and what to focus on in future games. So if all this looks dope, it's your lucky day, because Professor is completely free and you can get it by using my link below. Now let's get into the first game. Very first game, they are applying more pressure than a migraine. This Senna is literally so far up my asshole my breath smells like Obama's dick, and I guess since we are pushed up so far it only makes sense for their jungler to come spawning out of nothing to slurp up a Nami tempura roll. This of course leaves me feeling blessed to be alive, knowing there are few pixels on the map where I can exist without being cremated, so I make peace with my god early. Then we are continuing to get smothered and pushed in like a goddamn marshmallow between 2 very aggressive graham crackers, but sure enough 2 chains 1 seconds, and here's where I realized he is Giga Chinese. It's at this point where I know my game is going to feel like a bloody diaper, but it turns out my team's KSI is having a total hissy fit because our jungler taxed him, and now the pings are triggering his ironclad mental that has helped him climb to this prestigious rank. As a reflex, I can't help but to meme on retards like that, so I do echo his request without knowing what it was about. Anyways, Faker is now trying to show our teammates all the cool stuff he bought with the gold we gave him, but little does he know I'm the one hiding on bush bitch as I show up unannounced mid lane. Misfortune, more like unfortunate time to be here. Shackle Sean, but Senna hits a global fart to make it an even trade before being cheeky in all chat. This is only funny because not 9 seconds later she gets absolutely carbonated as I bust a large amount of nuts all over her and her butt buddy, and I'm thinking this may be okay. That said, a minute later my Nami goes, "Hey Rav, do you think it would be worth if I trade 90% of my health to walk up and miss a bubble?" And before I can answer, I'm in an ult-off with Counting Dracula in an attempt to save my fucking goldfish back there, only to become a martyr via a firm 4 to end it. My support is exhibiting a common reaction of people playing video games, but I say I trust in my Zahim, which for context is sarcasm, because of course this bitch is first timing the new champ 0-5 disgraceful weasel amount of CS, just absolute embarrassment to humanity. If I could meet this person in real life I would urinate in their ear hole and spit gum in their hair, because what they did to this Darius was borderline criminal, and being the ADC on the receiving end of that monstrosity is unpleasant to say the least. So yeah, I spent my first game in plat thinking, damn, I can't wait until I'm done playing video games and I can go back to work tomorrow, which I'm sure is the sentiment that Riot Games aims for in its player base. But then it was time for game numero dos. Checking the masteries, it's assumed most players are comfortable on a champ or 2, but then we have this first time Cassiopeia on the other team. I wonder what that could possibly mean.
Yeah, legends ain't born, they built from the grind. From benches to banners, we sharpen the mind, we sharpen the sword, and promise and swore that we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor.
I was warned that Platinum is the land of hard-stuck diamond players who suck so much dick in their own rank it's almost homophobic for others to fight them at their own rank, so they buy their 69-cent accounts and ruin the integrity of the games down here instead. But hey, I just have to play my own game, which in this case was chasing down Tyla so that we could get off to an early lead down here. We all get our ults and I can just tell this bitch is trying to get up in my grill so that she could take me to Niagara Falls, but little does she know I already have a water excursion planned for her, and if it wasn't for floating Felicia hitting the flash ult save of the century it would have knocked her dead. Then quite possibly the worst teleport my eyeballs have ever had to endure occurs, but the most ironic part of it is that I strived for 6 years to reach a rank in which that abomination of a teleport actually worked. That said, the first time Cassiopeia with T1 fucking Gumayusi farm has been completely abandoned by my top laner, as I'm just like, bros, we gonna let this chick cat walk straight in our base or what? So I go to stop it, only for Smurf Tits McGee to immediately rotate and kill my whole team. She then catches shithead Sushimi out, and my worst quality as an ADC is thinking that it's my job to try and do just enough to peel for my fucktards, which ends up getting me kill 110% of the time, and I'm thinking okay, they have a Smurf but we are tied in the kill count, so this is going to be a tight game, only for literally everyone else to give up at 15 minutes. So just to recap, my first game in Plat had a first time Sahim who fed so much Darius did this. And my second game had a Giga Smurf that forced my whole team to unanimously quit at 15. Third game in Plat, and if I lose it, this whole thing will merely be a short vacation to Plat and then straight back to Golden Prison. And sure enough, my one trick was picked and my second pick was banned, which meant it was time to whip out how this all started 6 years ago.
Legends ain't boring, they built from the grind. From benches to banners, we sharpen the mind, we sharpen the sword, and promise and swore that we going hard and leaving it.
I had the Brawny Paper Towels mascot as my support, and the first time he connected with his ice cube I hit a combo while he was smelling my queefs, but the stun was enough to get us first blood down here. We definitely had the advantage, even though I was rusty and he was retarded. It somehow was still ending up better than what the other team had, even though in the next skirmish he ended up getting to cash the big kill paychecks and I was left with just waitress tips from holding his hand, and that's when shit took a dark turn. Three deaths followed by him flat out abandoning me, off in the world to find his father, who should have played a more active role in his life, which would have saved him from being a support main, a shitty one at that, while I had to pucker my asshole all alone. That said, it ended up working to my advantage because it pulled their support out of lane, and in a 1v1 situation you already know who is coming out on top. Anyways, in Plat apparently you fight over Dragon when it's scheduled to spawn in 2 minutes, which is about 3 minutes better than Gold, but I'm all for firing little fizzler tickers at the Salamander. Sahim then demonstrates why Riot is drunk on the silly juice by reintroducing an ability they took away from Aatrox years ago, as I demonstrate a negative amount of game IQ by not just letting the red buff get me the double, which results in Guy playing new champ to text his friend saying he just found his new main. Then I get more alone time with the sly bitch who took my pick, and in case there are any statisticians in chat, I was rocking what you would call a 100% hit percentage on my abilities, which left her low and ready to be featured in an edit.
Yeah. Legends ain't boring, they built from the grind. From benches to banners, we sharpen the mind, we sharpen the sword, and promise and swore that we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Legends ain't boring, they built.
Then God Almighty himself, who the scriptures claim to be omniscient, would have no idea why the fuck there's a fight going on at our Raptors, but I come in and fire a ult at the top wave to make sure those midgets are paying attention before realizing that I'm positioned just about as poorly as an ADC can be in this situation. Luckily none of them have the situation awareness to know that my asshole could have been popped like a piñata if they just turned around, so while a lot of sloppiness went down elsewhere, I was able to kill the Pantheon in the process. At this point, if we combine my absence of any positional awareness with my toxic trait of needing to peel for others as an ADC, and you get me blinking literally on top of a Zahim to stun him so that he doesn't turn my Braum into a macho popsicle, but unfortunately this attracts attention to my lack of armor or any defenses for that matter. Luckily the boys are back in town and none of them have any appreciation for the flavor of the month, so we kill him, wait for the intermission in the play entitled Riot is Dumb as Fuck, and then we finish Act 2 quickly. There's more intrigue over Dragon Pit and what will be happening there in a few seconds as the peanut gallery comes in. Call them bungulators and get a little too close to the glacier that Braum has been keeping in his pocket, which lines me up for a nice cheeky little shitter over the wall for the kill. Turns out their gladiator was more like a satiator because I didn't need a map to know where he was and where to send him. I was now counting my blessings that I had the sexual predator porno stash as my support and not that shitty Greek soldier, as it was lining me up kills left and right. At one point my team's jungler, who said she sexually identifies as a cat, got sport like a pig, but not to fear. Logan Paul is here, and I know this was looking staged with all the predictable golden routines and flashy kill shots, but I can assure you this fight was as authentic as Pokemon's humility as we took down the rest of the team. Anyways, Pantheon continued inting his literal ass off, then we gangbanged the fish. I'm sure there's a category for that on some adult websites, and with that I popped off and won my first game in Plat. So for any of you who haven't been in Plat and want to know how it feels, the best thing you can do is open up Google, go to Coin Flip Simulator, and bam, you're basically playing Plat solo queue yourself. Brush your teeth tonight. Rav out.